What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about production planning and why you should plan out every single video that you shoot. Let's get into it. So before we actually get into today's video, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions throughout the video, leave them in the comments below because I'm always happy to answer them. Now, let's actually get into today's video. So production planning is actually one of the most overlooked things, especially when making content such as YouTube, or at least I feel like it's one of the most overlooked things when I talk to other creator friends of mine. And it's kind of a shame because when you go out to shoot and you don't really have a clear idea of what you're doing, things can get hectic really fast. And before you know it, the original idea that you had planned on shooting turns into something completely different, and you may not end up being happy with the results.
That's why I don't plan vlogs. I can't do it. I'm like, I'll film something at home. I can literally plan everything. I can like do retakes. Trying to plan shit out like out here is just like...
A good example of this is if you saw the video that I dropped last week, which was talking about my new film rig setup. I actually shot that video maybe 3 or 4 times, and I didn't really have a clear plan on what I was actually planning to do with it. I had a few ideas, but because last week was so busy, I didn't really have time to sit down and do a formal video like this. So I tried to film it a few different ways, and I wound up not being happy with any of them because it started with a basic idea and it kept turning into something that I just wasn't happy with the end result. So in order to actually finish that video, I wound up having to sit down, take 5 or 10 minutes, think about what it is that I wanted to speak about, make plans, and it didn't really even have to be anything specific. If anything, it was more so just bullet points because usually YouTube videos like this don't really require very much planning. But I took the time to sit down and think like, all right, what is it I'm trying to accomplish with this video? What is the message I'm trying to put out? And the second or third time trying to film this video, I actually even attempted to film it in the car because I had to run to B&H, and I was like, you know what? This is gonna be one of those videos where maybe I'll just film it in the car while I'm doing something, and then I can cut it and maybe just overlay some B-roll after that. But when I actually finished that video, I was thinking like, damn, if I'm gonna have to go out to another shoot location to film the B-roll to overlay on top of what I just spoke about, then it's gonna be even more annoying because I could have just filmed at the location I was already at.
Excuse me, Mr. Pontiac, you're ruining my intro.
And I wasn't happy with how that setup looked. I filmed it on my GoPro. I really don't like to use my GoPro for videos like this. I would prefer to use it like if I'm out and doing a vlog or something like that. So like I said, I really wasn't happy with the production, and I sat down, I took a few minutes, and I figured out what it is I wanted to say. I made bullet points, I went out, and probably within like 1 or 2 hours, I was actually able to film the video. And then because I planned everything out, I actually turned that video out in less than a full day. Usually videos like this tend to take time when I'm editing because I need to plan the B-roll and I need to figure out what it is that I said and get the shots based off of what I said. But because I had every single thing planned out and the shots I wanted to take already prior to shooting the video, I was actually able to cut it together very fast and post it one day after shooting it. So I actually have a little notebook here, and as I go through this video, I'm actually not sticking to the original plan. So this just goes to show you that you gotta make notes. You gotta know what it is that you're doing, so that way you can stay on track. So let's talk about different styles of shooting. Now, not every single video that you shoot is going to always be able to be planned out. Sometimes you have to wing it. There's no being so specific with everything. And if you're expecting that when you go out to shoot, you're just going to be disappointed. My main reason for doing production plans for almost every single video that I do is because I tend to be very forgetful. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, I'm always forgetful, but I have a lot of ideas and I tend to get very creative in my mind. I think it might also be very helpful because I'm a video editor, so I know how things are gonna cut together, and because I'm editing all my own videos, that I can envision how it is I want my edit to be because I'm shooting to edit. So usually I have so many different ideas and I'm just like, okay, I need to make a note of this idea, I need to make a note of this idea. And before you know it, I have a list of like 40 different types of shots that I want for one specific video. You know, when I'm out in the field, I can be forgetful, you know? When you're in the moment, you can be like, okay, cool, I had all these crazy ideas, and then you're trying to think of all right, where do I start first? Okay, I remember I had this shot idea, but no, that's not gonna work because that has to go after this original shot that I planned out. Especially when you're doing something such as a wedding or an event where you can't really retake a shot. You need to know what it is that your original plan was. So having something with you, such as a shot list or bullet points, just to make sure you get all the shots you originally thought of when you started planning for this video, is really gonna help you take your video to the next level. One really good example of a video that I shot that took a lot of planning, which actually at the time of me filming this video isn't on my YouTube channel, but I am planning to post it and make it live before sharing this video so that way you guys can have a reference, is a video called Welcome to ActiveFit. Now, funny enough, I'm actually wearing an ActiveFit shirt right now. That just happens to be a coincidence, but ActiveFit is a video ran by my friend Christian, and I've known him for a few years, and I've done some of his content prior to shooting this video, and I've done some content for him after shooting this video. And originally when he came up with this idea, it was a very vague idea. All he really knew is that he wanted to do a brand video, but there were a lot of different components that had to be worked around. So we had to deal with people's schedules, we had to deal with location, we had to deal with what it is that we were showcasing, and it took a lot of planning and scheduling between everybody to make that video happen. And when I watch it, I'm just so proud because I remember, and I actually have behind the scenes clips, but I remember how long that day was. And I remember that we only had one day to get this video done. And the deadline for the video was actually also coming up very fast. So we actually had a team meeting. He had everybody that was gonna be in the video show up for this meeting. And I went through all the different types of shots that I was trying to create. I went through the times that everybody was going to be available, and I actually went as far as doing location scouting for this video because I knew that we weren't really gonna have that much time throughout the day. So I had to know that everybody was gonna meet up at the first location and then go to the second location, then go to the third location. It really just took a lot of planning. But anyways, that shoot came out great because we had a plan, we stuck to it. We had a schedule, we knew all the locations, and production plans don't have to be so detailed or serious. Just as long as you have a clear idea or direction of what it is that you're trying to film when you're out in the field, you'll be able to get your videos done much faster. And another thing, just because I'm like so hardcore on production planning and I like to be meticulous about a lot of the videos that I shoot. It's like even this one, like right here, I have a shot list over here of all the things that I wanted to talk about. And imagine this. Imagine you're trying to get a deal with a brand, or you're trying to get a deal with a producer in the film industry, telling them, we don't have a script, but we're gonna film a movie. You know, that's the way I view production plan. And you might not view it the same way. If you view it differently, please let me know in the comments below. But I personally feel that if you're going to go out and shoot something, you should at least have the basic idea of what it is that you're trying to shoot. So speaking of production plans, I'm actually out here with Christine right now. Hi, Chris.
Hey guys.
This is our production plan for today, and it looks a lot more organized than me using the Notes app or handwriting and scribbling everything. But production plans, always use them.
All right, so before we wrap up this video, let's talk about some of the methods that I personally use to organize my videos and to plan my videos out. One of the main things I always like to use is my Notes app. I'm an iPhone user. I have an iPhone 10, which is, you can laugh if you want, that phone's kind of old, but I have an iPhone 10 and I use the Notes app on it because it works. Because I'm an Apple user, it transfers over from my MacBook to my iPhone. So if I ever am just typing away on my MacBook, instead of using something like Google Drive, which I also use Google Drive, it'll transfer over to my phone automatically. The app is just there. Another method I use, because I just mentioned it, is I also use Google Docs. I use Google Docs usually if I'm trying to share with somebody else. For the ActiveFit video, I did actually share that with somebody else. And for a few other productions, we'll tend to make a Google Docs folder. We'll tend to make a Google Docs document or a folder with either photos of locations we want to shoot at or videos that are similar to what a brand is looking for. I like to use a number of different methods. Google Drive and Google Docs is really more for working with other people. Another method I like to use, which is very old school, is the traditional pen and paper. For this particular video, I'm actually kind of half and half right now. Some ideas I have on this, and then other ideas I have on my iPhone. And finally, another method I like to use is there's an app I actually discovered very recently, at least within the past few months, and it's an app called Notion. It's also a website, so if I wanted to use it on my computer, I can use it on my computer, but I also have the app on my phone. And the reason I like this app is because it kind of just lets me organize things a lot better than the Notes app does, but it's not so crazy where I just kind of lose everything in Google Docs, because I use my Google Drive for a lot of different things. Like I share files with clients, finished projects I share with clients, photos, all that stuff. So it's very easy to lose my production plans in Google Drive. So I've been using Notion because it's a little bit easier, and I know that when I go into Notion, it's only production plans, it's only video ideas. So I've been using that app lately, and I really do recommend it. If you want to try it out, it's a free app, check it out. All you have to do is create an account and just log in. And it allows you to make folders, it allows you to make notes, you can make bullet points, check boxes, all that fun stuff. And I actually have on there a list of ideas that was in one of my notebooks. One of my notebooks was maybe like 4 or 5 pages deep on video ideas for YouTube, and I mean only for YouTube. So I was like, you know what, I have to have a digital version of this, because I know if I lose that notebook or it gets lost with all the other stuff that I have, I'm gonna be really upset that I never made a digital copy. So I chose Notion for making that digital copy, and usually I'll just kind of copy the main bullet, because it's all listed in bullet points. And I'll create a new page, and then that'll be the headline of it, and then I'll start the production plan through there most of the time. And if not, then it'll either be the Notes app or, like I said, traditional pen and paper. So really quick, as I'm editing this video, there's one final point that I wanted to go over, which really quick is production planning also allows you to figure out what gear you're going to be using. So when you're packing your stuff, you're not scratching your head like, oh, maybe I'll need this or maybe I'll need that. No, it's all gonna be part of your production plan. So that pretty much wraps it up. That's going to be it for today's video. Guys, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Tell me, are you somebody that likes to plan everything out, or are you somebody that just completely wings it and says, you know what, screw it, we're gonna figure it out as we go? Let me know in the comments below. And if you are one of those people, tell me how the hell you do it, because I'm not one of those people. I have to plan everything, but that's just me. Everybody's entitled to be however they want to be, but me, I plan everything out. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does really mean a lot to me and it actually helps. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.